Hi, I'm Alicia Delos Reyes. I blog for the Pathos Progressive Christian channel on the blog Surprising Faith. And today I'm talking with Erin Lane of Holy Hellions. She's an author, speaker, and blogger, and a minister. And we're talking today about how Erin makes money, basically, how a millennial minister makes money. So we'll be talking about a lot of different stuff, I hope. Okay, so I guess we'll just get started. Why don't you tell me a bit about the different things that you do?
Yeah, so I've always considered my vocation piecemeal. I've always wanted it to be one thing because I think to lead a singular life sounds a lot less anxiety producing than having to hustle for projects all the time. But
Mhm.
I've realized that's just not how I'm wired. No matter how much I might try, I just have such divergent interests that I really like having kind of multiple plates spinning at the same time. So right now, those plates consist of writing, which has been book stuff. So I co-edited an anthology a couple years ago called Talking Taboo.
Mhm.
And then that led to me writing my first solo project, Lessons in Belonging from a Church-Going Commitment Phobe. But those books certainly do not keep me above the poverty line. So that's one kind of the writing I do. I also write articles for online publications. I blog, but again, none of that by itself would create enough money for me to live on.
Yeah.
So the part of my vocation that pays regularly is work I do with a nonprofit called the Center for Courage and Renewal. And I contract with them. So I'm not a full-time employee for a certain number of hours a month, which usually looks like about 16 hours a week. So pretty part-time, but I get a lot out of that work. Most of that's program development for clergy and congregational leaders. I help lead retreats. I market those programs. I get to work with a really amazing, inspiring group of facilitators all over the country. And that organization is called the Center for Courage and Renewal.
Cool.
And so that our goal is to kind of help people sustain their life of service and live more wholeheartedly.
Cool.
So those are the two main things that I give my time to, and probably in equal portions. My husband would beg to differ that how that time evens out. But yeah, about 16 hours a week for the center work and 16 hours a week for writing.
Cool. And do you write about kind of the same things, like how to sustain a life of service, or is it related?
Yeah, I'd like to think it's related because I'm doing both of them.
Mhm.
And so that there is a practice of me showing up fully in whatever space I'm in, but also knowing that Holy Hellions, the blog work, the book work, is more personal. And
Mhm.
so that feels more tied to speaking to individuals about how to lead like this wholehearted life. Um, which often just kind of means investigating my own division,
Mhm.
where I feel kind of out of sync and trying to bring some theological bearing onto that. Um, I think the work I do at the center feels a little bit more institutionally focused. So I have a slightly different audience. Because it's primarily retreat work, we tend to get older people who can afford to go to a retreat out of pocket, who can take the time away from family because perhaps they don't have small children at home anymore.
Sure.
Um, so we're working on that. We're working on coming up with a program model that allows more young folks to get to those retreats, but that feels like a different audience
Yeah.
and a more institutionally minded one than the readers on Holy Hellions.
That's interesting. So, do you have, you mentioned this wholehearted life. Do you have like a mission that you're always trying to kind of focus on, or does it change?
I mean, it changes. I have some words that really resonate with me. I think one of them is I want to exhibit an inviting hospitality,
Hmm.
an inviting vulnerability.
Cool.
And so, how do we kind of show up as ourselves in our workplaces and our personal relationships with a vulnerability that doesn't snuff out everyone in the room, that's not so overwhelming that it takes up all the airspace, but
Hmm.
that vulnerability that models the way for other people to show up authentically? And so, how do we sort of have that appropriate vulnerability?
Yeah.
in relationships where we create space for other people to do likewise. I think on Holy Hellions, I'm really clear that it started as a blog about faith and feminism. And again,
Mm,
I think still about that because of who I am, but I think has also broadened to anything, wanting to lift up any sort of topic or area of human life where I want to move beyond sexism, stereotypes, and Sunday school answers.
yeah.
That feels like the ministry of reconciliation. How can we reconcile what seem to be opposites in our own lives, in our thought, in our discourse? How do we sort of hold a both and approach to life that actually opens us up to greater possibilities rather than shutting us down?
That's